Hi guys, Chris here with the Vivo IQOO. I don't know how you pronounce that. Perhaps it's IQOO. I did actually ask the guy at Vivo, their flagship shop in Shenzhen, and even then I didn't quite get it. Very difficult language, Chinese. I couldn't even pick up one single word. Anyway, so this is their flagship phone with the Snapdragon 855. It comes with 6 to 12 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes storage, which is UFS 2 spec, is the model that I have here. Now the screen on it is 6.41 inches. The resolution is 2340 by 1080. It's an AMOLED panel. It's very bright with a maximum brightness of 740 nits, which is great. Now it has Android 9 and FunTouch 9 OS, which is probably going to be the biggest hurdle for most people. It is for me using this phone now for a week. Now the cameras on it, front-facing camera 12 megapixels. The rear camera is also 12, and we do have a wide 13 megapixel camera. So the battery capacity, 4,000 milliamp hours, so it will last for quite a long time. And in my testing, it is going to last longer than this phone right here, the Mi 9, which is the other Snapdragon 855 model that I have reviewed. So let's take a look at what we get first in the box. So inside the box, you get a warranty card, instruction manual, leaflet with the SIM tray tool, USB cable, so that's Type-C to USB, then our little charger. So very fast to charge, 15 minutes, you get 50% battery life, which is kind of unbelievable, and then in 45 minutes up to 100%. It will fully charge in about that time, which is just super quick. 44 watt charger. You get an included case. It's not too bad. There is a cutout on the back here, of course, for the LED lighting. Cutouts for the cameras, the microphones at the top, 3.5mm jack, and the gaming triggers too. So there is protection for the buttons, as you can see. So they are protected, and I feel overall, for an included case, this one is not too bad. There are some lines on the back giving it a bit of texture, so it won't be so slippery in hand. And here's what the phone looks like with the case on it. So it does add some bulk. It does protect the camera lens, you can see, only just, but it won't let it actually touch a table or anything like that. Now, I'm not too sure whether this is covered with sapphire. I don't believe it is. I think it's just normal glass they've used on the rear. And if I flip it around, you can see that the screen won't touch the table either because it does have a raised lip around the edges. You will note too that the phone did come with a pre-applied screen protector, which is nice. So the rear of the phone seems to be covered in glass, but I do have my doubts about this. I'm a little unsure that it could actually be a very hardened plastic that they are using, so tapping on it has a bit of a hollow effect. I'm about 90% sure that it is glass though, however, there. You can see the LED light is shining through at the moment. It's under the settings, under what's called the cool lighting effect. And that is for your notifications, gaming, only certain games that are supported for that, calls, charging as well. Not very bright, the LEDs, as you can see. Even though it's pulsing at the moment, it's a little bit hard to make out. I had to turn off some of my lighting here so you can see that. The edges are curved around here. The build quality is very good. Feels nice in hand. Down the bottom, a single microphone. There are 2 Torx screws either side of the Type-C port. It doesn't support video out. I tested that with some of my hubs and HDMI adapters, and a single loudspeaker. And either side here, you can just make out the antenna lines. It is a metal frame as well that is around the whole phone. Right up the top, you'll find a 3.5mm headphone jack, 2 antenna lines, and then our secondary mic, which is used in video and for call noise cancellation. Then on the left-hand side, you'll find right at the top here the dual SIM tray, which takes 2 nano SIMs, no micro SD card support. There is a rubber gasket around this, which is good. It's made out of metal, not plastic. The button below it is their AI assistant button, which is Vivo's own. It's called Jovi, and it's only in Chinese. And then on the right side, you'll see we've got these 2 shoulder buttons. Now, these are pressure sensitive, so they're only touch ones. I would have preferred hardware buttons. Now with the software, you can configure these, either one of them, to act then as an overlay on top of your on-screen buttons. For example, in PUBG, set one to zoom in with the scope, and the other one, the trigger. So it does work, it gives you some haptic feedback. And then we have a volume up and down and power button. These are made out of metal. They have a good feeling to them. And then the camera at the top, this one is 12 megapixels. We don't know the aperture, but I think it's around f2.0. The earpiece at the top, there is no status LEDs within this, and it does not act as a secondary speaker, unfortunately. So it is a water drop notch, and the bezels, left and right, top and bottom, are quite slim. Okay, so let's take a look at the screen now in greater detail. So it's an AMOLED panel, it's from Samsung, maximum brightness is 740 nits, which is excellent, very good. Sunlight legibility is good. Not the best I've seen, but it's good. I had the screen protector still on it, so if I removed that, it would probably be a little bit better. But overall, it is a good screen. So the grammar checks out to be close to 2.2, but it's more about 2.3. So the closer to 2.2 is what we want. And then when you take a look at some real world images, very good, deep blacks, color accuracy seems quite good as well. Overall, it's a very nice screen they've gone with. I would rate it as being about the same, almost exactly the same as the Xiaomi Mi 9 screen, which again is another good AMOLED panel on there. For the resolution, so 2340 by 1080p, this screen to me looks perfectly fine. And the lower resolution is going to make it much easier for the GPU to drive games, of course, there as well. And the screen does have, within the settings, these options here. So you've got the standard mode, which is on by default. But I prefer normal, this is more correct, the bright mode, and you can even adjust the temperature right here to your own personal preference. So for your toggles, you have to swipe up, and swiping down was just the notifications. And I still keep doing that because I'm used to every other Android phone that has it when you swipe down to get your toggles, and eventually you do get used to that. So the performance of the ROM is really good. I'm not seeing any lag. This is now in their full screen gesture mode, which is by default. So swiping up here goes back. Swiping up take you home, and swipe up and hold will then let you multitask, which it does really well. Considering the chipset, it's to be expected. So it is very smooth, it's fluid. Now, there are a couple of things I don't like. You see a lot of Chinese in this ROM, but you try to install, for example, Fortnite here, and it's going to force me to then sign in to my Vivo account, which I don't have. In fact, I don't want to do it. See here, safety verification. There's no way around this. If I cancel it, and then go back and I try and use the File Explorer, it won't let me install the game. So sign into your Vivo's account is the only way to get Fortnite on here. And to me, just don't do things like this. Manufacturers should not force you into accounts and signing up for even more accounts and things. So the performance, really good. Don't see the notifications at the top, all of them at least. And I can see I've got a text message here that is showing. So those text messages are there. But as mentioned, for some reason, Twitter and WhatsApp don't seem to want to show up there. So it's just a little annoying. You get around that. Now I'll also show you just a couple of things I wanted to run through in regards to battery life, So battery life, I'll just bring that up now, is very good. Oh, okay, I need to toggle that. See, I'm still not really getting used to this. So here we are, battery life. Okay, 8.5 hours almost. I've got 14% left, and I've been giving this phone an absolute beating. Now, the reason this is lower than I expected it to be is because I've actually been on data more this time around with my battery test. So it really should be about 10 hours of screen on time at the moment. I believe you can probably get about 11. This phone, of course, has a 14,000 milliamp hour battery. It means it lasts a lot longer than the Mi 9. And gaming, you're going to get about 6 hours, I would say, gaming out of this, perhaps even a little bit longer than that, which is great. So I'll just get out of that. Now, a couple of screens here, I did want to also show you that what happens that you still get this with the installer. When you run it, you're going to see a little bit of Chinese pop-up in almost everything. And that's same for the home screen as well. So I'll just go back to home. And if you swipe over then to the left, you've got their smart scene, the Jovi stuff here. And you're going to see a little bit of Chinese. Now, you can get rid of some of these and edit that, of course, to your own preference. And I just wanted to bring up to some of the screenshots here. So I've been going through, I did get an update that's come through on this. So new version, that's the latest one I'm on at the time of this video of Untouched OS. Wireless performance seems to be very good, of course, for the chipset Snapdragon 855, this is to be expected. Okay, Widevine level 3 security. Okay, so you're not going to get Netflix, unfortunately, in full HD. I kind of expected this being a Chinese phone. I know now that Xiaomi has focused on the Poco phone, and the Mi 9 now have level 1 cert. Camera API 2, support level 3, and this is the internal storage here. So it's very fast, 800 sequential reads and about 200 writes. These are good speeds for the type of storage, UFS 2.1 spec, and 2.2 score. So not quite as fast as what I got on the Mi 9, but it all just depends. I could run this again and it might get around 360,000, but it's a very, very good score. The biggest increase, of course, is the GPU here. It's just an absolute beast, as you'll see later on gaming. So 4G, I haven't had any problems here at all. I found the signal strength seems to be very good with the modem on this one, with the antenna set up, because it can connect at my house onto 4G with 2 bars where not even my Xiaomi Mi 9, it won't even connect to it, sometimes 1 bar. And just to quickly mention the GPS, now I don't believe this has the dual frequency GPS, the level 1 and the level 5 like we have on the Xiaomi Mi 9. I notice the performance tends to be good, but not quite as good as the Mi 9. Maybe that's why that is. So you get a lock and the accuracy hovers normally around 4 to 5 meters. It follows me fine in the car and around town, and that is the main thing. So it's still going to perform well there. Now another thing that people have been asking me about too is you might have noticed right here that I do have Google's camera installed. Now I've been trying out a lot of different ports and I'm having a lot of trouble with it. So it doesn't tend to work well at all. It locks up. It's just locked up again. So you can maybe get it to work for a little while and then it will just freeze up. So you try night sight or in video, you might see that it activates and it seems to be working for a little bit, but we're obviously going to need one of the developers there on XDA to come through with a working port for us here. I conducted a little throttling test here. So I ran the test for 15 minutes until it stopped because they say that, okay, on the IQOO it has additional cooling, it's going to run 10 degrees cooler, whatever the marketing hype is. So I thought, okay, how does it stand? How does it fare against the Xiaomi Mi 9, which is on the right of the screen? So you can see when you have a look at the graph that yes, it did throttle. It dropped down to about 80% performance over time after the 15 minutes on the Xiaomi Mi 9. So it looks like, yes, the cooling is doing something. But when you look at the performance figures, what really matters, okay, it's actually performing better on the Xiaomi Mi 9. Take a look at the average, the minimum, and the maximum values here in the performance, and you'll see that what really counts is the figures here. They're better on the Mi 9, but yes, it did actually throttle less. There's no denying that right there. So you can see that it dropped down to 88% of its max performance, where the CPU throttled down to 86% of its max performance on the Mi 9. So that's a 2% difference. So we do have an in-screen fingerprint reader. This seems to be the latest sort of trend, and it's working well. It's about a second. I'll just show you. So that was a little bit slower there. At times I found it tends to be better than my Mi 9, a little faster at reading. Sometimes you can just quickly tap it. You normally need to tap and hold. So it's about a second. I'll do that again. That was more like the speed I'm normally getting. So you can see it's quite quick. One more time. Okay, that was a little slower there because of the angle. So if you add the same finger a few times, the trick I showed you with the Mi 9, then you can expect even better speeds there. I'm not really having any issues with it. For me, it works about 9 out of 10 times. And I will demonstrate it just how fast it is to face unlock. So I will tap to unlock now, and that's it. You can see how quick that is. It is very, very quick to unlock. That is milliseconds. So very quick, the face unlocking. Now to very quickly talk about the audio quality, 3.5mm headphone jack I would rate as good. Not quite as good as the audio outputs you get on Xiaomi's phones, but it's almost there. Quality is perfectly fine. There's no hiss or static over that line. We get a single loudspeaker down the bottom here. I'll give you a sample of it. It does have a little bit of bass to it. The volume is very good for a single speaker, but sadly, no loudspeaker in the top earpiece, which would have been great. Okay, probably what a lot of you are here for is this. Let's have a look at how it games. This is the gaming assistant. So when it detects a game, it doesn't detect all games. You might have to add it through the software. This will come up so you can reject the background calls. It will clear RAM. You can disable the AI button. One of the handy features as well with this phone, it has like a off-screen mode. And what that means is it'll turn the screen off, but it'll be still playing the game in the background. And this is very handy for leveling up, automatically leveling up. For example, in games like Lineage 2 Revolutions or Heroes of Incredible Tales, you can be leveling up with the screen off. So this is the options it will give you. And of course, this is PUBG. It is on the highest settings that it will let me. So you can see the performance of this. I'll just go and show you that you're going to get absolutely no lag. This is just super fluid and smooth. So at the moment, the way I have the triggers configured, I don't think I've got the overlay set correct at the moment for this one, so I need to change that. I'll do that again and show you. So this B, I need to put that over the scope there. You can set it to whatever you want. You can set it to crouch, to jump, whatever. Save that change. So now pressing that trigger, you can see it goes in, and this trigger at the top, pressing it to shoot. Now, it's a little bit uncomfortable. It's not super comfortable the way that's configured. And you can see the frame rate here is, I'm not shooting in 30 frames per second, but I can just tell you that it's super smooth. I'm probably about to die actually already. Okay, yeah. I'm dead already. Now, it's just super quick, super smooth. Snapdragon 855 is going to handle this game perfect. So, I know it's a gaming phone. I don't really need to show you a lot of game performance. Just trust me on this one that it is the smoothest you will see. So the triggers, is it really adding a lot? Well, once you get used to it, I think it's good. It's a nice addition. But is it essential? Is it something we actually need when gaming on games like PUBG? Is it going to give us a real advantage? I don't believe so. But this title is Shadow Gun Legends, and I have the triggers enabled. So the right trigger is to zoom in, and then the left is to fire. I've got it on the highest possible settings, highest frame rate, and it's running super smooth. Really, really good. So constant 60 frames per second. I'm not seeing any lag. It does warm up a little bit, the phone, after a while. And I'm about to die. Okay, dead. But really, I don't feel these triggers are adding that much to make it worthwhile buying this phone over, say, the Mi 9. And now a quick look at the stock camera app. So you've got your typical filters here. This is your bokeh mode. You can adjust the bokeh from all the way from 4. I think it goes down to then f11. The lowest is f0.5. But of course, it's all software. This right here. Wide-angled lens. So you tap that to go to the wide-angled lens. I've noticed there is a bit of sometimes lag with the viewfinder. So it doesn't seem to be running at a proper full 60 frames per second. It doesn't seem to be completely smooth there at times. Here are some other beautifying modes. Now, I have noticed that there's a bit of a bug with the camera app, and that is that if you disable HDR, if you go into the video mode here as well, and you set, for example, your video resolution to be 4K, which I'll do now, and it doesn't have any electronic image stabilization, as you see from my samples, which is really disappointing. But the thing is, you exit the app, and later on, after a while, you go back into it, you find HDR, HDR has been enabled again, and it doesn't save those video settings, which is a real annoyance. So by default, it's always on 720p. Okay, it saved it for now, but later on, when you go back and use it, say, an hour later, it will not save the setting, which is annoying. So that's just, I think, a bug there. Even though we got the firmware update, it didn't correct it. And a 4K video sample. So it doesn't look to have any electronic image stabilization. There's no options to enable or disable it. And this is rather disappointing. So, of course, the footage doesn't look that great. You're going to have to use a gimbal. Now, you cannot swap, unfortunately, between the wide-angle lens and then the main one, which is a little disappointing. And this is now the front-facing camera, so you can shoot up to 4K with the front-facing camera. But yet again, of course, no electronic image stabilization with this. And low-light video, let's have a look and see if it drops any frames. If we can handle this, there's plenty of light around, so it's well lit, the street, as you can see. Very busy streets of Hong Kong. So just to comment a little further on the camera performance, low light mode, the night shot mode doesn't seem to really do much. It just tweaks the exposure. It doesn't have any optical image stabilization, this lens, so it cannot really have a long shutter rate to let in more light. And it doesn't really seem to do much, the night mode. It's a little bit like the Xiaomi Mi 9. The night mode in this is quite hopeless compared to other brands. It's one area. Now, I think this is probably Vivo's best camera. Definitely. Photo-wise, okay, it takes some nice photos, but it's not the greatest out there. There's still a lot of phones that perform a lot better. I've noticed the stitching too can be a little bit hit and miss with the portrait mode. It mostly gets it right. But the Mi 9 will do better there and slightly better camera. Now, no electronic image stabilization in video means, to me, it's kind of ruined. You really need a gimbal for it. So again, the Mi 9 wins in camera performance there. Now, I know that this phone is marketed for gaming, so you get the light at the back. So if you're into that, then you can customize and get the different lights coming through there, working in various different games, calls, notifications, and whatnot too. You will see that. The build quality is very good. 3.5mm headphone jack is great to have, something that of course Xiaomi drops on their flagships, which is quite annoying. The larger battery capacity too. 4,000 mAh battery means that you will be gaming for longer on this one, up to about 2 hours longer, I would say, versus this one. So battery life is very good. Charge time is crazy fast, so 15 minutes to get over 50%. I got about 52% in 15 minutes. Absolutely phenomenal charge speeds. Fully charged and about 46 minutes as well is just crazy fast for charging. But no wireless charging on this. If you want a wireless charging, sadly does not have it. So it has NFC, but it doesn't have LTE band 20. The real con of this phone is, for me, the software. So FunTouch OS, it has its little quirks and things in there that I don't like. You still see Chinese popping up. You get used to the fact that if you want your toggles, you need to swipe up, that it's not from the notification menu. Notifications tend to show, but not quite all of them. The performance of the ROM is very good. Everything launches fast. That is good. The game boost mode and the gaming software on there is mostly in Chinese as well, which is annoying. And even though it is a global ROM, you've got all the Android languages on there. Even when I've got it set to English, you still get that Chinese. And of course, the Jovi Assistant is something that we can't use outside of China, or at least you need to speak Chinese to be able to understand and use that fully. So Vivo, to me, they've got a lot of work. If they want to make moves on the global market, they want to start to get out of China, they need to focus on their ROM. Hardware is definitely there. Cameras, yeah, okay, could be better, but they're not bad. It will take a decent photo, and that really is probably the main thing that people would not too concerned about camera performance, but more about the gaming. Now, I know they've marketed it with the copper inside here to make it cooler, make it throttle less. I'm seeing absolutely no difference between the Snapdragon 855 Mi 9 here. So that is still my recommended phone. I know the fingerprint scanner might be a little bit slower, but it's only a few milliseconds compared to this one. I think you're better off spending the money in this Xiaomi's Mi 9. You get the global ROM, you get LTE band 20, the wireless charging. Okay, the battery life not quite as good, no 3.5mm headphone jack, but at the end of the day, when you're in that software and you get the Chinese characters and things popping up, it makes it a little frustrating, which is why, yeah, spend your money on that one instead. Thank you so much for watching this review here, and I do hope to catch you back in the next one. Please do like and subscribe for more. Bye for now.